My name is Rajan, this is Stitch, and in this video I joined the Brackies Game Jam where I made a game in 7 days. 5. The theme for the game jam was You're Not Alone. Now before joining the jam, I had this idea. You play a T-Rex and you need to protect your egg from a wave of enemies. After completing a wave, you are rewarded with a baby dinosaur to help you with the next upcoming wave. Shh!
We're gonna do this.
So the first thing I did was try and create the scene in Blender. Initially, I wanted the environment to be in a forest, so I started with that. After the environment was done, I began working on the T-Rex and imported it into Unity. Now it's time for movement. For movement, I want the player to move to a position based on where they clicked across the ground. Okay, that didn't work. It feels super slow and the player doesn't have much control. Also, this bug happens. Okay, so instead of the point and click method, I decided to change it so that the player can walk towards the mouse position at their own pace. This worked way better. After seeing the character in Unity, I started to think it looked a little too serious. I wanted to go for a more rounded, cute look. So my first attempt at redesigning the character looked like this. So after redesigning the character, I started to know a bit more about what kind of shapes I wanted to make, how to make them and the proportions. So I redesigned it again and ended up with this. Okay, so now I needed to rig it. Ribbit? I didn't know where to start with rigging, so like anyone, I searched for a tutorial on YouTube and found this. I was able to rig the T-Rex fairly quickly, laying out the bones, weight painting, and was all set for animations. This tutorial helped me so much. It covers the basics of animating and eased me in very quickly. After messing around, I created a walk, jump, and tower attack. After improving the character, I really wanted to improve the scene. I was inspired by an episode of Love, Death and Robots Miniature Zombies. This episode features an effect called Tilt Shift and I wanted to recreate it for my game, leaning towards a city environment. I found this tutorial on how to make modular buildings and that helped a ton with making the scene. I duplicated the buildings and laid them out so that there are 4 entry points for enemies to spawn into. I imported it into Unity, added a blur effect in the background and it started to really come together. Now that I had the scene and character implemented, I started to think a bit more about how the player interacts with the enemies and didn't think the tail attack was that fun, so I replaced it with I made this simple fire particle effect from 3 different particle systems and attached a box collider for detecting collisions against the enemies. I then needed to add enemies that would spawn in as waves and attack the egg. So I watched another tutorial on how to do this and found a tutorial from Brackies himself. This let me control how many enemies should spawn per wave as well as the rate at which they spawn in, which was great. I used assets from this and set up walking and attacking animations as well as a fire particle that occurs when they are being attacked. And this is what we have so far. Okay, so now we have a good foundation to build on. I felt we needed to add some. For this, I was using the fill asset, so I started to add some screen shake, a light that flickers red when firing, and more screen shake. This is what we have so far. I also took the time to add the jump mechanic, which might be a little bit OP at the moment. Okay, so at this point it's midnight and I needed to stay up all night to complete and submit this game to the jam. I still needed to create the UI screens, finish the loop of the baby dino spawning, sounds, music, wave spawner and egg health, and figure out how to upload this game to itch. I decided to work on completing the UI screens as this wouldn't take too much time and I needed a game over screen especially for when the enemies managed to destroy the egg. Now we have the main menu, game over, and egg health bar for when the enemies are attacking the egg. Okay, now it's the baby dino. So each time a wave is complete, a baby dino should spawn to help you with the upcoming wave. Initially, I wanted the egg to crack open and for the big dino to lay another egg for the next wave. But this sounded a bit too long, so I decided that the egg take off into the sky and just spawns a baby version of the T-Rex. I had just 30 minutes to submit my game to itch, which I still didn't know how to do, so I built the game and playtested it and it's finished. So I was getting this bug. So I quickly fixed the issue, ran a build again, and it's working. I submitted the game and played it from itch and I get an error. Luckily, there's a grace period. I tested it again in the final minutes and it turns out I uploaded the wrong build file and there was no time left. This was so surprising. I was not expecting any positive feedback at all. I was so deflated after submitting the wrong build file, but to have comments like that, at least one of those just made it really worthwhile. Also, reflecting back, I feel like I have learned a ton doing this jam, so that makes me feel just a little bit better. So that's it for my first video. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the like and subscribe buttons below. Let me know if you think I should continue developing this game. Bye bye.